We made it all the way through our first season. It is July, and the transfer window is open. And a very hearty welcome back to episode number 26 of Bottom to the Top. I'm Mr. Cellophane. I hope you are having a fantastic day so far. We are moving into season number 2 at Kasımpaşa, and we are hoping that it is going to go just a little bit better than the last one. If you've been following along with the series, you know last season was full with a ton of ups and downs. The team hated us from the jump, and we spent the entire season trying to gain their trust, trying to make sure that they liked us, and we had a lot of players who were unhappy at varying points. Hopefully we're going to be addressing all of those issues here in season 2. We have started off by conducting quite a bit of business to get things kicked off right away here on the 1st of July. First, we have triggered extension clauses on about a half a dozen players, including Dre Siddiqui, who is probably one of our best players. He's in our defensive midfield. He is a stalwart for us. He is very good. His contract was ending at the end of this coming season, so we've got him for another year. We also added Atinç Arikan and Komplat Çelik, who are younger players who we're hoping to continue to develop in our system. Mustafa Demirci is probably our striker of the future. Will he be the striker for this year? We don't know. He's only 17 years old. He'll be turning 18 during the season. He has a ton of potential and played very well for the U19s last year. And we also extended a couple of other young players who have some potential in Kadir Usum and Toprak Uzun. We have also done other business to make room for some of the players that we will be bringing in. We have released a number of players on free transfers. Now, these were all players who were going to be out of contract anyway. Their contracts all expired on June 30th, so July 1st, we just decided to let them go. And they include David Damjoni, who did start the majority of our matches as one of our 3 center backs, but we realized we could stand to improve on that position, so we're going to free up some salary. We're not going to spend a lot of money trying to re-sign him. Mamadou Fall was going to be turning 35 during the coming season. We had trouble slotting him in. We've had an issue over the last year with just having not too many foreign players, but too many foreign players who are capable of being in our first 11, more than we were allowed to. So finding a spot for him was always difficult, which meant that somebody else had to be left out based on the players that we had. He was a productive striker for us, but I think we can do better. A couple of guys who really didn't have a position with us were Suleiman Güneş and Erdem Setinkaya. Ali Emre Yanar was our backup goalkeeper. He stated very early on that he was not interested in staying. He was going to explore his options. He really wanted to just get out, so we have obliged him. Can Koskin also fell down our depth chart as our left wing back, and he wasn't really much of a happy camper while we had him. He was a bit of a malcontent, so we're happy to see him go. And then the others in Kasımpaşa, Demirtas, and Basha were all young players who just didn't factor into our future. We are going to be putting an emphasis in this transfer window in picking up players who are Turkish nationals. That way we don't have any issues with the registration rules. It gives us a little bit more leeway as we move forward with who we can and cannot play, and gives us a little bit more room to jiggle our lineup as we need to. You may recall from the last episode that our transfer budget was somewhere in the neighborhood of $800,000, and our wage budget, while increased, is still pretty minimal, less than 100,000 euros per week. So we kind of don't have a ton of wiggle room right now. Now, maybe if we can find a buyer for Ben Juanes, who we know the board does not like, and who is getting up there in years. He is a bit of an expensive player as well. If we can move him on, even though he was our top-selling jersey last year, somehow, even though he really didn't play to his top effectiveness, let's just put it that way, maybe that will give us some more room. But free transfers are where we are headed right now, as the transfer window has opened up here in Turkey. And we have managed a couple of deals so far. Göktuğ Baytekin, a 21-year-old Turkish national goalkeeper, is going to be our new backup and potentially our goalkeeper of the future. He has a ton of potential. He could very quickly surpass Moritz Nicholas, which will also then free up yet another foreign spot for us. He's played 4 times in the top flight with Besiktas, did not concede a single goal. I kind of like this guy. We brought him in for 3,000 euros per week. He's here till 2029, and he cost us absolutely nothing up front. We also brought in the midfielder Ali Khan, 5,750 euros per week. He's got some nice value to him. We got him in on a free. He's really a regular central midfielder. We don't really play that role. We are training him to be an attacking midfielder where he could certainly earn playing time alongside of Yusuf Insi, also a spell of German Diaz. Mateus Henrique is also a possibility in that position. You may remember we brought him in last season, but we could not play him out of Brazil. He's 23 years old. Like I said, he didn't get any playing time because of the number of clubs he had played with previously, made him ineligible for Turkey. He will be able to play this year, not only as an attacking midfielder, but he is also quite an accomplished right wing back, and we needed some depth over there. Claudio Vink played pretty well. He's getting a little older. He's 32 years old. We may have our right wing back of the future in Mateus Henrique, a good signing from last year. Forethought, tactical genius. Dynamically, we actually find ourselves in a better position than we were last year. I mean, team cohesion is kind of average. The club atmosphere is at the moment. We do have a couple of unhappy players, which we're going to touch on in just a second. But look at the managerial support. We are in the green for average, which means we are getting over that hump. Remember, we were abysmal at one point last year. Now, the 2 players who are unhappy, the first is Ali Demirel. We've already talked about him. He wants to move to a bigger club. We're hoping to oblige him. We really would love for him to stay. He is our first choice striker after all. Unfortunately, that's probably not in the cards. We have promised that we are going to sell him if we get an offer that is good enough for 2.7 million. I mean, if we could get 2.7 million, imagine what we could do with that money. We also have Alp Kilinc, who is concerned. He's a 22-year-old striker, not a ton of talent. We really don't want to keep him around. He wants to join another club because they're going to offer him a more important place in their squad. We've actually accepted an offer to offload him, so hopefully that concern is going to fall off of the map very quickly. I sometimes don't understand players. Alp Kilinc was upset with us because he wanted to join Turgutluspor, then rejected a contract offer from Turgutluspor, and is now apparently happy to stay at Kasımpaşa, where he's not going to play. Okay. And here is the move that could very well make the board very happy and the fan base not so much. The player that sold the most jerseys last season is on the move. Mortada Benwanes has been sold. We needed to use an intermediary to get it done. We weren't getting any other offers any other way. 5.5 million euros is the fee that we're receiving for the Tunisian international. I, for one, am kind of glad that he's gone. He was a pain in the butt. 2.6 million is going to be added to our transfer budget, which gives us about 3.5 million, give or take, to spend moving forward. So let's go shopping. Well, they're not as split as we thought. We knew that the fans were not going to be happy about the sale of Mortada Benwanes, but we thought the board would be happier. I mean, it's kind of a middling grade from them, mainly because we did get a good transfer fee from the player, as well as getting rid of his salary. However, considering they asked us to bench him for a month last year, I thought we were doing a good thing. We have managed to bring in a couple of more players on free transfers, including another Turkish center back in Alperen Babakan. 28 years old, 6'1", 163 pounds. His primary function is going to be adding to the aerial prowess on our back line, and hopefully he can also help us out a little bit with our set pieces, get them a little bit over the hump. We almost lost our set piece coach. They tried to poach him. He decided to stick with us, however, so good news all around. Speaking of coaching, we were able to go to our board and get a couple of more members of our coaching staff. So we added a brand new goalkeeping coach. In fact, we added two, got rid of one of the old ones trying to improve things. We also have added a brand new head of youth development, and we have another scout, which brings our total scouting staff to 3. We're rolling in it. Also joining us on a free transfer is another young striker, still a bit raw, maybe not quite ready for the first team yet, but it's 20-year-old Adnan Karahisar. We got him, again, no money, $1,700 a week. Pretty good for a player who is pretty good up top. We are still going to be looking to replace Ali Demirel, although Ali Demirel still a member of the squad as of right now. I am still a bit concerned about what is going to happen at striker. We have 58 days left to fulfill the promise of selling Ali Demirel, but I kind of don't want to. I mean, he is going to force our hand. We really don't have much of a choice. We don't have any concrete suitors yet. We got about 2 months to figure it out. At this point, we have attempted to offer out Ali Demirel once again. This time, we're asking only $1.5 million. We had agreed on 2.7, but that hadn't really done anything besides generate a little bit of interest from Sheffield Wednesday, but they did not actually come in with an offer because they apparently can't afford that. In the interim, we did try to sign 34-year-old German-Turkish dual national Serdar Dursun because he was just a big dude that we could just stick in the middle. Not very fast, but he would have been excellent as a target forward. But he has decided to sign for Göztepe for 10.25 thousand euros per week. So our search continues for a new striker. What I am hoping is that Ali Demirel will see that we have made a concerted effort to try to sell him to a bigger club, have not found a bigger club that is willing to take his services, and he will agree to stay and be our striker for the next season, or at least until the January transfer window. We do currently have 26 players registered to our squad, including Furkan Güyü. We just brought him in. He's a 17-year-old Turkish goalkeeper. We needed a minimum of 2 domestic goalkeepers. We only had 1. We found another. He needs a lot of work. He's very raw. He's very green. If he plays this year, we are in big trouble for a number of reasons. We have been taking a look at potentially bringing in another starting goalkeeper, but I don't know if Moritz Nicholas will take that step back. So that's a delicate line we need to tread. We're going to see how Nicholas does in this first half of the season before we make any decisions, unless something massively fantastic just happens to fall in our lap. At this point, we're just loading up on center backs, adding 19-year-old Benedict Joseph out of the Atlanta United Academy, 6'5". Yeah, that's all I really need to say. 191 pounds. His physicals are off the charts for his age. We just really need guys who can clog up the middle, that have a little bit of speed on them, that can add their aerial prowess to the rest of the squad, hopefully score some goals and keep some out on those set pieces. We thought we'd try to get cute and offer Ali Demirel a new contract. His agent said he wasn't interested. We were like, we'll try it anyway. He wasn't interested in talking to us. Sadiq Sifmanar has been offered out via the transfer room program in order to just try to make some space on the roster. Frankly, he is now one of our odd men out at 33 years old. He is also an elder statesman on the squad. He's just not fast enough. He's just not big enough compared to everybody that we brought in. I mean, he's got great aggression. I love his bravery. His work rate is top notch, but there's really just no space for him on the squad. He's a little concerned about his playing time, and frankly, I would be too. So hopefully we can get ourselves an offer and get something back before his contract expires at the end of the year. We did lower the asking price for Ali Demirel to $1.2 million. Still no takers, although Westerlo is rumored to be interested in him, but again, they did not make an offer. We are going to put him on the transfer list, see if we can generate any additional interest. We may have to go the intermediary route, but that means we're going to get less than $1 million for him. At this point, as much as I want to keep him, and as much as I think he will be an asset on the team if he decides to stay and is not unhappy to do so, I am worried that if he is unhappy, it's just going to drag everybody else down and we're going to be back in the muck like we were last year. We already have that pressure of needing to become a mid-table side again, which we technically were with our 12th place finish. But I really don't want to take any chances. I would like to be top half. I want to do everything we can to get there. If we can't sign somebody else, I think we do have good options, good young options, but good options nonetheless to replace him. So do we go with Team Happiness, or do we go with the guy that we know can score goals for us? That is a big question that we are going to need to answer, and we are frankly running out of time. So as we close in on the start of the season, here is our current squad depth. We do have some holes to fill. Maybe we're looking at another backup wing back, especially on the left-hand side. And we don't know what's happening with Ali Demirel yet. He is still here. Moritz Nicholas is going to be our starting goalkeeper with Göktürk as our backup. We do have a couple of young guys in the wings in the U19 squad. Kenneth Emeryou is our best central defender, with Babakan and Ugrishkan behind him. Benedict Joseph also showing up on this list, as well as Atakan Gündüz. Furlong is going to be getting the start at left wing back. He did pick up an injury in the preseason. Hopefully he will be ready for the regular season debut. Mateus Henrique and Claudio Vink are going to be battling things out for the right wing back position. Dre Siddiqui is our stalwart in the defensive midfield, along with Lamine Diak, Iron Gomis, and Ugushan Yilmaz should be vying for playing time there as well. Yilmaz has gotten a lot of interest to go back out on loan. The board didn't love that, neither did the fans last year, so we're hoping to give him an opportunity with the squad. In the attacking midfield, it's Yusuf Insi, who we are kind of sort of considering making our new captain. We haven't really come to a final decision there yet. Ali Demirel, of course, is in play if he stays with the team, along with German Diaz. We have a couple of options behind to them as well, with some younger players, and Demirel remains our best option at striker as far as current ability is concerned. But Mustafa Demirci and Adnan Karahisar are very talented. They've got a lot of raw talent. They could grow into much better players than Ali Demirel. Is it going to take us giving them that opportunity for it to happen? We'll just have to see. So we're going to keep plugging away. About a month left in the transfer window, but we are less than a week away from the start of the regular season. We're going to open up on the road against Bodrum, and then we have our first home match of the year against Başakşehir. That's all coming up on tomorrow's episode. Thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. All of the support, all of the subscriptions, the likes, everything. You guys are the absolute best. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye.